Have you ever noticed that when life gets really stressful, whether it's burnout, big changes, or just the daily juggle, that little voice in your head gets a whole lot louder? The one that criticizes your body, your choices, your worth. Our next guest says there's a hidden cycle there, and understanding it could be the key to breaking free. Clinical psychologist Rachel L. Goldman is the author of When Life Happens. Rachel, it's good to have you because life does happen a lot. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. And yes, life is happening. That is for sure.
It is. And you talk about how body image and eating disorders aren't separate conversations. So why is that connection so important to understand?
Yeah, so many people struggle with their relationship to, either food or their eating and or their body. And it's important to remember that. Now there's eating disorders and then there's disordered eating behaviors and thoughts. And both of those can really get in the way of people living the best life that they want, as our thoughts, emotions, and behaviors are all linked. It all is really tied together.
I like that you highlighted the distinction between both of them. And you talk about this cycle between stress and body image. So what does that actually look like in everyday life?
Yeah, so what a lot of people don't realize is that the mind body connection is real. And the way that we show up in the world impacts a lot. So if we wake up in the morning feeling stressed or overwhelmed, and then say we look in the mirror, we're actually going to be looking at ourselves through a stress lens as opposed to what really is going on and really the true self of ours.
And what about those living in the gray area with no diagnosis, where they're chronic dieters or they have guilt around food and constant self-criticism? How common is that amongst people?
It's actually super common. And that's what I would call kind of disordered eating behaviors or disordered eating thoughts. If you have a poor relationship to your body and or your eating behaviors or food in general. And it's really more common than people think. And I hate to say it, but I do blame social media for a lot of this, and all of the comparisons and everything else that goes on with the day-to-day kind of go world, but also the social media and the comparisons as well.
Yeah, it's hard not to compare when you're on social media. And even as we are adult women, you think about the next generation, teens or girls who are even younger, kind of seeing this and maybe how that's implementing just what they're thinking at such a young age. But you share a reset in your book. How can someone use it in a tough moment to interrupt that negative spiral that so many of us do?
Yeah, so let's think about that cycle for a moment. Say again, you wake up kind of feeling stressed or overwhelmed, you look in the mirror, and then maybe your thoughts automatically go to what's wrong with me and kind of zooming in on whatever flaw that you think you have. So in the moment, we can actually tell ourselves to pause and stop. And there's a few things we can do then. We can ask ourselves, is this something that I would say to a friend? Because most of us would not talk to a friend the way that we talk to ourselves. So that's the first thing we could do is kind of ask ourselves, is this what I would say to a friend? And then we can also then tweak or shift what we're saying to be a little kinder. Now, I like to remind people you don't want to say the complete opposite because that might not be true and maybe unrealistic as well. We don't want to set ourselves up for failure, but we can say something a little kinder, a little more grounded. And then again, that thought is going to impact how we feel, which then impacts our behavior and our action. So those are some things that we can do simply by identifying this is not a helpful thought. Why is it not helpful? Because it doesn't make me feel good. It's not what I would say to a friend. And then how can I tweak that to make myself feel a little better?
I love that. Talk to yourself the way you would talk to your friend, because if I'm talking to my friend, I'm going to amp them up 110%. So looking at it that way for yourself as well, too. And then let's talk about the goal as well. You say it's not realistic to love your body all the time, which thank you for saying that. It's just not reality. So what should we actually be aiming for instead?
Yeah, so we should decrease the pressure and take that expectation off of ourselves that we have to love our bodies all the time because that's just unrealistic. Instead, I like to think of it as improving our body confidence, improving our relationship with our body. And it is a journey. It's not just like we wake up one day and we're like, I love my body or I feel great in my body. But thinking instead that body image also is more than our appearance. It's how we feel and think in our body. And a way to shift that is actually by appreciating our body for what it does for us. So taking the focus off of appearance and actually thinking something like, I like to give examples. So I love my legs because they allow me to walk from point A to point B, or I love my arms because they allow me to hug my children.
Mm,
So taking the focus off of appearance and instead thinking, what is my body doing for me,
yeah.
is going to let us have a new appreciation for our bodies. And in time, we will be able to feel more accepting of it, appreciate it a little bit more. And again, it's kind of this body acceptance journey. It's not an end result that we're trying to get to.
Yes, it's a journey. I love that. And I've enjoyed this conversation with you so much. Thank you for joining us today, Rachel. And to our viewers, you can find out more by heading to whenlifehappensbook.com.